Hey, they can hear us now. Hello, everybody. Hello, we are getting started.
Oh, got double audio because I'm a fool.
And then let's see. That means I probably want to turn this to this. No, that's good. That's good. So if I hit this, let me bring up that.
Really?
Okay, let's see.
No, tell me what you want, what you really want. I wanna. What's popping?
Getting ready here. I'm good now.
How was the wrestling?
It was wrestling. It was good.
It was good. It was very good. We'll probably talk about it in the start of the show and we check
Yeah.
with each other.
Yeah.
Okay, there's that. Boom, 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 boom. And then they were ready to podcast. Did you guys hear music? Actually,
No.
you guys probably didn't because I've had
No,
to
I
turn
heard
it
the
off.
daddy ass thing, but not music.
All right. Well, that's more important anyhow. So,
Yeah, fair. That is still the daddy ass thing.
Ass boys.
There you go.
No, I opened up sheets.
It's Thursday, baby.
All right. Let's see. Let's
Double check up a Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, I am. Got my air gun. Some blow the dust off this business.
What else did I play?
Oh yeah, good call.
No, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know what there's to say about it.
Yeah, still it's fun. Okay. Well, I think
Well,
we're probably
well.
ready to start.
You fall into my trap. Did you tweet it?
No. Let me bring us up.
My internet is behaving.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Enjoy your gaming.
What do you
PS,
have to- what-
PS5
what
has
was that with
PS6
the
prices.
scissors?
Scissor me,
Yeah,
Christian.
We're scissoring
Why-
each
why?
other now. What? What do you
No.
mean, why?
I don't think you can.
I
I can
I'm-
prove otherwise.
I
See,
have and I
let's
will.
Try it, man.
see each other. Yeah, we've had and we'll do it again.
Yeah. Okay, I am ready. Mike, are you ready?
I'm ready. Oh, I like your pizza planet shirt.
Oh, somebody raised
Yeah.
the prices of the super chest by 10%. Fuck.
Jim
right.
Ryan. All right,
that
everybody.
was me.
Here we go. Let's.
I'm inspired by Jim Ryan's brilliant leadership. Man, I wish Xbox Hero was here today. Again, not to make everything about him, but I would love to see his spin on this one.
All
What
right.
if, like, Phil comes out and it's like, you know what? Our console is 10% cheaper now.
Well, it would be it would be like when the one time Steve Austin gave a stunner to The Rock, and then he actually bounced back up. There was so much worse, and then Austin stunnered him again.
Man, wrestling is fun, huh?
Yeah.
What happened with Chef?
I'm just chatting. I'm just gonna in the chat. I'm just yelling at the Uncharted Wolf for not liking Wave Race.
Oh, that's funny. Where'd that happen?
Daddy, chill.
Daddy chill. Daddy ass chill.
What the hell is even that?
All right, I'm ready. Mike, you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Did I ever tweet? I don't think I ever tweeted. That's what I was gonna do.
I assume that's what you were doing at one point, but instead you're yelling at our lovely viewers.
Yeah, let's see. I am. All right. I've tweeted and I am ready. I'm going to count us in, Mike. You good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3. It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the Games Mess Decides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything about the world of games so you never have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeff Grubb. With me is
Mike Minotti.
In today's episode, we have news, we have games, we have to announce a price increase because I can't afford any of this bullshit anymore, Mike.
Yeah, you know, it's only fair, Jeff, the economic values. By the way, you are all still our family. You are not just our fans. We're all in this together.
I'm aware that you're struggling too, but pay me more money specifically.
Right, because we're such family. Actually,
Mike,
that is like family that they're asking me for money.
Right, exactly, asking me for a lot of money. Absolutely. Mike, how are you doing?
None of my family asks me for money. Now I feel bad about asks me. None of them. God, I've been.
They definitely ask you.
It's corrupted my mind. I'm good. I was a little tired. We had a long day of watching. God, what a insane complaint. We had a long day of watching wrestling yesterday, and I got home very late because of the drive, so I was sleepy. But we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a good time. I mean, the guy's character is just that he is a dad and enjoys ass and then enjoys scissoring. That's the whole thing?
His gimmick when he was in WWE was the ass man Billy Gunn.
Right.
And his butts had a lot to do with his gimmick. So
well, I mean,
then he showed up in AEW with his kids. And they were called the Gun Club. But Danhausen, even before he's in AEW, would makes a lot of videos. And he would call them the Ass Boys, and it got over, pal. So if they're the Ass Boys, well then by default Billy Gunn would be the Daddy Ass or Ass Daddy.
That seems good. Danhausen seems very powerful. He seems very.
Well, yes, he can curse you.
Yes, yeah. His ability to curse people seems like a very powerful tool in the world of wrestling. That was a good show. It was good 3 shows. I actually went and put a little bit of the show on. I watched it, and I'm like, oh man, this is good stuff to watch live. And it's cool to see all these different angles on TV. But I'm glad I got to see it live in my first wrestling show. So
yeah, your very first one.
I definitely want to go back. It was definitely a good time. So next time they're in Cleveland, maybe we should go back again.
Yes, absolutely. It was a lot of fun. We got to go to Mabel's barbecue. Michael Simon's barbecue joined first, and that was very good. So
yeah, I've been thinking about that vinegar barbecue sauce all day. Actually, I was like, been having multiple conversations today about how much I like vinegar. And
you're talking about it on Game Mess Mornings. It's a very good. Yeah, like ever since I had it, I kind of was the same way. Just like, wait, actually. Turns out a vinegar-based sauces are just better.
Yes.
Very good. Especially now that I'm older and I don't like sweet things as much.
Right. Yes.
Just make it tangy as hell.
Other barbecue sauce, sugar, this vinegar, and actually vinegar. Fucking hey, man. That's, yeah. I'll just chug some vinegar after this show. Thank you so much for joining us. You can get more from Mike and me at the Discord at GameMess.net. If you want to ask us a question, you can drop a super chat during the show on YouTube right now. Live as we're recording this. Thank you to Carlos Ayin, who's Insane in the Rain Music on YouTube, for the use of our theme songs. We are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and wherever pods are caught. Give us a good rating wherever you are listening. Hit that like button on YouTube. It helps people find the show. Thank you to our mods, and you could support us by going to patreon.com/GameMess or hitting that join button right here on YouTube. If you do either one, patreon.com/GameMess or join the YouTube channel, you will get instant access to the secret channels inside the Discord. Also, our live recording of our next Jeopardy match tomorrow, which, if it goes ahead as planned, will be me, Mike, and MVG battling. It's the battle of the Titans, and maybe battle of the Titan and Mike and Jeff. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But I just hope there's not too many hardware or tech related questions. I'll be in trouble.
Yeah, I'll say that when I mentioned to Sean, who puts this together for us, that we were going to have MVG on. He was like, oh, I could do so much, which really made me scared.
What does that mean?
What is that? Yes, I'm very frightened. So
I think I'm done. I will not have my usual confidence going in. No offense to any of our past wonderful guests.
I think if we we just open the show by repeatedly yelling "Scissor me, daddy ass" at MBG. He'll be so confused and off-put he won't be able to answer anything.
Let's make him uncomfortable,
Yes.
which is very easy for us to do. Speaking of being uncomfortable, if you don't all thumbs up the show right now, if you are watching live, I will never scissor you. So think about that.
Yeah, think about what that means for you, and then also just like it anyhow. As well as the Discord and the Jeopardy thing, we are doing a monthly Q&A. We'll be doing that this Sunday. I think we're doing it this Sunday. So tune in for that. And you can get access to all that and more. I actually put up recordings of me talking about Naruto for the last several weeks. So I just actually dropped a bunch of those in the podcast producers channel, which again you can access by going to patreon.com/GameMess.
I want whoa, to be clear, we are not deleting messages that ask us to scissor people. That is completely okay. I gotta stop this right now, mods. Come on.
Yeah,
Sorry, the Andrew 13.
That was not sanctioned. Let's see. I can unmod him here. Let's see here. I can remove moderator status from Christian, and there we go. All right.
Rogue modding. Come on.
All right. As we scissor our way into the news this week, PlayStation 5 is getting a significant price increase everywhere except for the United States, Mike. This has been... of course it is. It's the biggest story of the day. Everyone's been kind of like freaking out about this, and everyone's freaking out that other people are freaking out about it, and they're like, this isn't a big deal. Everything's going up in price, so in a way, this isn't too surprising, and yet I can't remember ever seeing a console go up in price everywhere except for the United States again, like this before. We've seen price increases sort of stealthily happen with something like the Nintendo Switch OLED, which did not cost $50 more to produce and yet came out at $50 more than the launch price of the Switch. Here it's just, no, the PlayStation 5 needs to be more expensive because we want to make more money from each sale, and we know that you'll pay it. It's kind of that simple. This came in a blog post written by Jim Ryan, or at least with Jim Ryan's name on it. And it's like, hey, the global environment is tough. We know it's tough for everybody. It's tough for us, too, here at Sony Corporation.
It's real hard times.
Yeah, putting hard times on Sony PlayStation.
Let's put in hard times on PlayStation.
Okay, I mean, it's a bad blog. It really is a bad... Like, Jim Ryan is legitimately bad at this. I mean, at this point, it's like there's no other way to put it. But whatever. He's good at making money. That's what matters to them. And this is going to make them more money for each console sold. Components are more expensive. Shipping is more expensive and, like, harder to predict. Packaging, more expensive. Across the board. Like, there's a million reasons to want to get about 10% more for each console sold, which is about the price increase that they've done here. The... PS5 Digital Edition, both raised by 50 euros throughout Europe, 30 pounds throughout the UK, 5,000 yen in Japan. That one might actually be a pretty significant increase. I'm trying to look. No, that's also about 10%. So yeah, like kind of across the board, 10% increase. I mean, what do you think, Mike?
It's bold. It's pretty bold, Jeff. They know that they have a bit of a lead. They know they have a lot of cachet, and this is just absolutely saying, well, people are going to be mad, but I bet they're not going to be that mad. And guess what? The one place where they actually probably would be so mad that it would maybe be a problem is the United States. So the USA Internet Fury has saved us from this, maybe, but that's almost not cool. I mean, that's so naked, right? Well, we're not doing it there because those guys would be mad.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, I can see them maybe like partially thinking, oh, the dollar is so strong right now that it's like we've already done a price increase in the United States without, no, whatever. It's not that. It is just that we would be very, very loud. And if they could raise the price on us without the backlash being unbearable, they would. I think that's it's hard to argue that. And, by doing this, like we know that's true because of what they've always kind of raised prices on other countries before they do it in the United States. Like game prices were raised for years before we got the $70 games. So, I mean, Canada, it's like $100 per game there. And if you want to get, like anything extra, it's like, $110, $120 sometimes for games. So they've been willing to raise prices on those audiences for years, and once again, it's proven like they will do that to help ensure that their top line costs are met with like enough revenue from the other side. I mean, whatever, their business, they're going to do this stuff. I don't think that this is going to hurt them, so that's probably the major reason they're going to do this, right? This is not going to have... They're still going to sell every PS5 they produce, right?
Probably. Sometimes it's a death by a thousand cuts, Jeff.
Yeah.
And, it's been a bit of a narrative like PlayStation's becoming that PlayStation 3 era PlayStation again. Maybe this is just one more of those things, that the kind of weirdness of, the new PlayStation Plus, just some of the Jim Ryan rhetoric and the way it kind of sounds so cold and business driven, right? So maybe that stuff will stack up. But if they do, keep making good games, if God of War Ragnarok is fantastic, and if Last of Us Remake 1 sells a bunch of copies, and PlayStation VR 2 is really cool, and it comes with this new Astro game, maybe all of it doesn't matter in the end. It is just bizarre, and this feels completely unprecedented in terms of just actually straight up increasing the price on a console, which used to be, people would know, well, we're going to lose money on the consoles, but that's okay because we'll make it up on games. That was the rhetoric forever.
Yes.
And now, this is the complete opposite of that.
Yeah. Sony kind of proudly stated that they were making money on each console sold with PS5 pretty early on. Obviously, that didn't last as the economy went wackadoo in the last several months coming out of the pandemic and all the supply chain issues and component shortages. Like, that stuff was going to push up the price of building a PS5 anyhow. But even so, it's like it was the price was never going to come down because of all the shipping and everything, and putting stuff on pallets and putting them in shipping containers, and that stuff got way more expensive just in the last several months. That stuff will come down. But I think they're looking at hey, we can raise all that stuff is usually you just eat it. Usually companies just eat it, especially on the console side of things. It's so hard to pull off one of these price increases. But I think they're everyone else is getting away with the price increase. Why shouldn't we? Why they're doing the Bilbo Baggins. Why shouldn't I have it?
After all, why shouldn't I?
After all, why shouldn't I? And I think they just kind of fell victim to that, a little bit of that small tiny bit of greed, but it's also just savvy business at a certain point because they will get away with it. This is if they come out of this and in September they have a big showcase and they show a bunch of games that people are excited about, people are gonna be $50, 50 extra dollars, whatever, 50 extra euro is nothing if I get to play all these games. And most of the people that are gonna be super excited about this stuff are either gonna be I already have a PS5, or I was already planning to maybe pay more if I really need to get a PS5 because I haven't been able to find one so far. So I just think that they're gonna be able to turn this around pretty quickly just because they have so many games that so many people want. And that's the other side of this. Do you think there's some strategic timing happening here where this comes at the end of August and we have September coming up right now and people are expecting a lot of big announcements in September?
Yeah, no, I do think that's right. They're going to have to kind of show this is, it's expensive. It's more expensive than ever, but this is going to be so worth it because look at all these cool games. I think you are right, Jeff. It probably won't matter. There's a small chance maybe it will. I wonder, is this going to drive... it's going to drive some people to just be well, maybe I'll get an Xbox instead. How many? Or maybe they'll say, well, I'll just stick with what I have. I have a Switch. I have a PC. Maybe I don't need a PlayStation 5. They're going to release some of those games on PC eventually anyways. I guess now I really will just wait a year, whatever. I have a lot of things to play. Again, probably not. They'll probably be fine. And they're probably telling themselves, look, if this ends up being a disaster for whatever reason, we can always just lower the price again.
Yep.
But they're pretty sure they could probably get away with it, and they probably will. Jeff, I think Christian's learned his lesson. I think we can mod him again.
Oh yeah. I was gonna mod him again once. Yeah, don't worry. That was only a temporary. There you go, Christian. Let's see here. From Jamie H in the Discord, what are the chances of Microsoft pulling a $299 style mic drop in the near future? They've already gotten enough good press by ruling out a price hike, so why not go further with a $50 price drop on Xbox Series X and maybe a $20 or so on Xbox Series S? To point to what he's referencing there, a bunch of blogs reached out to Xbox and said, hey, what's your response to this? And Xbox basically said, we are constantly evaluating our business to offer our fans great gaming options. Our Xbox Series S suggested retail price remains from 249.99 pounds to 449.9, basically 450 pounds. They're essentially saying we're not raising the price. It's going to remain this price going forward. I think that they benefit from this without having to drop the price. So I don't think they will, right?
No, I mean, it would be a lot, especially when they are still in a slight position of trying to prove how, they're the ones competing against PlayStation and they're behind. This is kind of good news for them on that front. Two even maybe, right? But I don't think they need to really go after them with that. I don't think they need to do the double stunner here.
Right, exactly. Yes. And then let's see if was there another angle I wanted from this. I don't know. I just think that we're probably going to go into this holidays and the PS5 is going to sell well. I just think the Xbox is also going to do great. And I think the Xbox Series S is probably going to come out of this the big champion, where people wanting a cheap option are going to be like, that actually is good enough. And they're right. I've been playing a lot of the Xbox Series S because we put it upstairs, and it's totally great, actually, for what it is. And just to think you can kind of get the next-gen experience, and it's still just $300, and it's easy to find, it's kind of hard to beat that.
The slightly worrisome thing is any new hardware that's going to be maybe launching soon, like whatever the next Switch thing is going to be. Like, how high is that going to be? Because it feels like it might be higher than it would have been before. So that's just going to be an earlier starting point. And, it used to be, well, they'll go down in price eventually. The Switch, not so much. That's not really the case anymore. So that's another worrying thing about the price hikes. But I think we all agree that Sony probably wishes that they released the PlayStation 5 at a higher price. Nintendo is probably kind of aware of that. And maybe they're going to come out and say, well, let's do a higher price. Granted, they had a bad experience with the 3DS with that. So maybe they'll be careful. But the lessons of history only echo for so long, Jeff.
Yeah, and, trying to get that bottom line really short up is the kind of thing that they care way more about than learning those lessons forever. I think that we're going to go through this generation, and it's going to get very deep in, and we're going to look around and be like, there were maybe one price cut across the board for any of these systems, maybe. And even then, that seems pretty unlikely. And they'll probably just find ways to replace these models with more storage and then keep them at the same price. And we will just be like, okay, fair enough. We'll do it. Opening Night Live happened this past week, Mike. We went over this because you were on my Game Mess Morning show yesterday. So if everyone wants us to fully break down what happened there, we did that. That's available. You can watch that on Giant Bomb. The two stories that I picked out are DualSense Edge and Hideo Kojima's podcast. That DualSense Edge, a new Pro controller from Sony themselves. It is wireless. It's very adjustable. You can hot swap sticks, like the whole mechanism, things like that. It looks cool. You've said you're over the Elite controller. Are you over the concept or just the Elite because of its build quality?
I think my experience with the Elite 2 was so bad that I think I'm over Pro controllers in general. I think the standards are more than good enough for me. Especially for just how, controllers are already expensive, and those are just so much more expensive. And really, the only thing I actually care about on them a lot of time is having some back buttons, which is something that I feel like is just going to get built into controllers anyway eventually. If it's not, it's because they know they can make it a feature on a Pro controller and sell it for more money. But no, I'm not into it.
Yeah, it's I think Dude makes a point in chat that might actually make me a little bit worried. I think the battery life on the DualSense is kind of rough. It's not as bad as at my my DualShock 4 got at the end of its life, but it is enough to the point where it's, I can feel it. I can see the battery draining in a way that I just can't with other controllers. This one seems even more intense. Is the battery life going to be worse? I would hope that with a little bit more of the bulk and being a Pro controller, you could have a little bit more heft. Hopefully they find more spots in that controller to add a bigger battery, and that would be ideal for me. Hideo Kojima also announced a podcast. It's a Spotify exclusive. It's going to go out in both Japanese and English. Jeff Keighley's going to do a news segment. It continues to be weird every time I think about it. Do we know when the first episode is coming out? Is it I thought it was very soon.
Normally, you would want it to be very soon, if not immediately after announcing it, right?
Right, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, who cares? We have the Sakurai YouTube channel anyways, which is great.
Yes.
It's just been a delightful treat, so whatever.
I've not watched any of those yet, but the full videos out from Sakurai right now, where he goes over stuff, because some people said he was going to cover some interesting topics, and I haven't watched any of them yet. Have you?
Yes, yeah, like some of them are like game designy things, like explaining the concept of why you want to put in like a brief second pause when you kill a boss, or exciting moments
Yeah,
like
that is what I heard. Yes.
And he's also kind of just going through the games he directed. Like he started with Kirby's Dream Land, just talking out, like, they're not long videos, like 3 to 5 minutes, just talking a little bit about the design philosophy of like the first Kirby's Dream Land. That's really neat. Although I did laugh at one point. He's like, it's still the best selling Kirby game ever. And there's like an asterisk up on screen as of the time of publishing this video.
Right.
Forgotten Land's going to pass that up at some point here.
It is cool. Kit Ellis, who used to work at Nintendo of America and now does Kit and Krista and is like, Patreon support and all that stuff. He's like, hey, it's so rare to see a Nintendo developer out there speaking that Sakurai doing so is an absolute like treasure that we should treasure it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to definitely consume everything that Sakurai puts out. That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
A couple of things I talked about on Game This Mornings today, just to catch you all up on it. Be Oni is the code name for EA's new partner game with Koei Tecmo. EA has mentioned that they are doing a partner game alongside all this other stuff that they got coming, like a major IP game, which is the Star Wars Jedi sequel that's coming out in March. There was always another game listed, and it's this Koei Tecmo thing, and that's about as much as I know about it. Other than I know it's a new IP. So it's not some Muso. It's not FIFA Muso, Mike.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, why would EA even really get involved if it isn't like strengthening one of their own IPs, right? Or at least an IP they have a license to, like a Star Wars. Maybe it's just super promising, or maybe they just want to get some of that Soulsborne money, Jeff. And Koei Tecmo has some experience there, I suppose.
Yeah, and and EA's partner program has been kind of a success. I mean, after It Takes Two, you kind of can't deny that, like, taking a chance on something new can sometimes be a real big winner. I mean, God, It Takes Two did 6-7 million copies sold.
Especially for its relative scale compared to some things. It did very well. And it's a very good game. So
yeah,
it won a Game of the Year, didn't it?
It won Game of the Year.
Awards, yeah.
Exactly, won Game of the Year, and it's a huge commercial success. It's like, so EA's partner program, taking risks, it's paying off. Maybe they'll see something similar here. Maybe it's the kind of thing where this first one doesn't work out, but it was like, It Takes Two was not the first project they did with that Justin, or whatever his name is, Joseph Ferris, yes. And it's like they kept trying, and then the second one like blew up on them. So
third one, right? Did they do the first one? They didn't do Brothers, did they?
No, yeah, he did. Oh, EA didn't do
he
Brothers.
Did Brothers.
Yes,
I don't know if
EA did not do Brothers. Correct. Yes. And then Need for Speed. Speaking of EA, this is a game that you might have expected to see at Gamescom. It didn't show up there, even though it was supposedly coming out in November. It is no longer coming out in November. They've delayed it internally to December, and they plan on introducing it reintroducing it like in the lead up to that in a couple of weeks still. So if you've been waiting on that, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. But yeah, I don't know. Need for Speed, Mike. Again, it's just a series that I'm always like, maybe I'll try them, but I have never been won over by a Need for Speed since like Hot Pursuit and maybe Underground.
Yeah, what was the one that was a PlayStation 4 launch game or launch window? I think that's the last one I played. And I always have a fine enough time with them, Jeff. I have nothing against it, but I don't know. As much as I even like race, as much more as I've gotten into racing games lately, even I still can't find myself getting too much energy mustered for the Need for Speed.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I said the Need for Speed not because I'm uncool. That was the name of the first one, which was a video exclusive, by the way, before anybody schools me.
Yeah, how long ago was that? That's like 30 years ago, right?
3DS, 90s, man. It's like 95 probably. Maybe even 94.
25, 26, 28 years ago. Jesus.
I just love that the Need for Speed started on 3DO. It's just fantastic.
That was the 3DO was going to be EA's console, and
EA,
basically because whatever his name is, I can never remember. But
he was like a big supporter, and they had a very good version of Road Rage on there. Road Rash, and other things. So, yep, for sure.
All right, Mike. That does it for the big topics this week. I mean, obviously, It's still the PlayStation 5 price increase is all anyone's talking about. But if you have questions about that, or if you're mad at us for discussing it for some reason, if you're a weirdo, super chat us, please. We
got some interesting super chats, Jeff.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'm looking forward to it. Actually, should we do those now, and then we will get to the Discord questions? Let's do that.
All right. Jeremy G says, I have raised the price of super chats by 10%. That's funny because he said it $2.20 instead of $2. Funny.
That's
We
very
should
good.
be the policy, right?
Uh-huh.
I like this. Cake to the Past, that's a funny name, says, when speaking of Wave Race 64 last week, you forgot to mention the closest gyms we had to it, that being Rainbow Studios' own Splashdown and Splashdown 2, Rides Gone Wild. Thoughts on these gyms? Thanks, Jeff. I have not played Splashdown.
I haven't either. I think I've heard good things about them. Splashdown, it was at the PS2? Yeah.
I don't even know. Yeah.
I think it was. I will check these out on my Steam Deck. That sounds like a good time. I will give them a shot. This looks great. I think I remember seeing these games and remember hearing that they were very good. Published by Infogrames, and then, of course, that became Atari. So, yeah, cool. Thank you.
Daily Beating said, due to Mike being a poor influence on me and the rest of society, for that matter, fair, I now own an Orange Spice GameCube and an Eon adapter. I did not need. Oh, you need it. Trust me, it has been nothing but an improvement on my life. I'm very happy about it. And hey, if it's the Orange Spice GameCube with the ZMod chip in it, the one that lets you play Japanese PAL games, you can get homebrew running on it relatively easily. So there you go. RDX Son of a Vet says Xbox Series X in Canada is $600. PlayStation 5 was $630. PlayStation 5 now is $650, and PlayStation 5 games are $90 here. Too steep for me. I mean, yeah, I don't blame anybody for feeling, if you feel like you're priced out of it, if it's just too expensive.
Yeah, I think this is signifying that this hobby, at least when it comes to PlayStation, is going to be more expensive for the near future of this generation. And if those indicators point you make you think, oh, I should find a cheaper way of engaging with games, that is only fair. That is the risk Sony is taking here. That there won't be as many of you out there. But I think I think Mike's maybe more right than like we're thinking here. That there are going to be a significant number of people that, not a huge number. It's not going to be everybody, but there's going to be a few percentage points that's going to be like, hey, I'm going to go find a different way of doing things because the PlayStation is pricing me out.
I am always more right than you think.
I guess so.
Bayleaf Moon says PlayStation 5 L, no KOTOR, paying $70 for Resident Evil remakes. I think it means that Resident Evil says already. Rip off Game Pass, rip off Elite Controller, and now the price hike for the console. L, clown emoji. Sony needs to hire Yuji Naka to win this console war. Clown emoji. Then to be clear, there's a /S, everybody. So, thank you, Bayleaf.
Thank you so much.
Hey, look us here. The Xbot murderer. So, that goes just straight up like, I will kill you. Said, talk Xbox having no AAA games 2022 and second half of 2023. I almost have to applaud
right.
his bravery for on the day that Sony is just increasing the price.
It doesn't feel like that to me. It feels like, please just talk about Xbox being bad instead. Please stop talking about PlayStation in a mean way. Please they don't have any games. Don't you people realize?
I mean, we talked about them not having any games this year for a lot. We've done that a bunch. So
yeah.
We don't like. I'm not gonna talk about it for no reason right now. Right. I guess
that would be weird and crazy.
Yeah, but also is this whole no games second half of 2023 thing? I still don't know what he's going on about. They'll have at least one major game. I'm sure.
They will probably have games in the second half of 2023,
and maybe they'll get delayed anyways. And who fucking cares?
Yeah, I don't fucking care. Yeah,
I feel like it's like our fault or it bothers us.
Yeah.
The Andrew 13 says, how shocked were the Beef and Cheddar boys at Punk's squash? I was very shocked when it happened. I think I just gave Jeff this look. My immediate thought was, maybe all these rumors are true. People are like, Punk doesn't like anyone else, and he's just gone. Then people were talking about it, so I kind of realized, okay, Punk was probably just still hurt. He came back still being hurt, and the plan was always, we need to get the interim title off of him and just make Moxley the champ because we have a pay-per-view and Punk can't compete at that pay-per-view. So we'll do this like really short match, and we'll also use it as an opportunity to turn CM Punk heel. When he comes back, he'll go on this chant about how we all turned against him and all this stuff. So I think that, there's probably some stuff about friction. There's been a lot of these kind of weird reports coming out of AEW's locker room, but I think there's some truth to that. Largely, I'm beginning to think once again that we are getting worked.
Yeah. Do you? Is there any chance that that CM Punk will still be in the, like, let's say he's not hurt. Let's say that angle of him being hurt in that match was like, oh, that wasn't. He's gonna come back and say that wasn't the real thing. This is what Dan suggested to me, that wasn't the real thing. So we got to do our real fight at the pay-per-view. Is there still a chance of that?
I don't think this pay-per-view. There might be a chance, Jeff. I don't think we see him again until after the pay-per-view or after he's if he's not actually 100%, and that it was another work on top of a work, and now we're getting confused. Maybe because we were wondering, we're having a hard time figuring out, well, who does Moxley fight at the pay-per-view?
Yeah, One Up versus CPU in the Discord says, how would you book the world title match of All Out? While we're on the topic, let's just bring that in here.
I'm trying to think like people who aren't busy with other things right now, and it's like, I guess Hangman, and there was still that awkwardness when Punk brought up Hangman and stuff, so maybe he'll come out and say something. Again, I know this isn't a wrestling show. I don't want to, really bog down all you non-wrestling guys with it, so maybe you have to find a way to insert Hangman there, but then you have an awkward face versus face thing. So I don't know. I think it's weird. I'm not exactly sure what you do for that world title match.
Fair enough.
Next one from the Xbot Murderer. How much Xbox pays you? Okay. Where's Avowed, Fable, Perfect Dark, 007, Clown Emoji?
I don't know. I don't make those games.
We've said so many times. I mean, I don't know how we ever indicated that Avowed and Fable or Perfect Dark were coming out. What does he think we thought that they were going to come out this year? What he's talking about?
I don't think he really thinks that. He's just listing games he's heard of.
We've explained what's going to 007 1,000 times, so I don't know.
Yeah. Also, it's not like 007 some major thing. It's just 007,
yeah, it'll be
guys.
Fine.
Yeah.
The Andrew 13 says Xbot is the Sammy super chat. He is the Sammy Guevara. Poor Sammy. He's even when he's like a heel. I mean, when he's a face or a nice guy, he just has such a. He has one of those faces.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I know.
I don't want to say punchable face. It sounds like mean. Like I should just be able to punch this guy. Don't like the look of his face, but
the way you look should give me the permission to punch you. Yeah.
Yeah, but Dan Becker says much of this outrage at Sony is just console wars. I mean, I think people.
Listen, are console fanboys out there sort of doing a little bit of a victory dance because of this? Absolutely. Let's just separate ourselves from that and talk about it like adults, which we just did. Like we were having a realistic conversation about a real move that a business made for business reasons, and maybe there's outrage out there that's actually fanboys and parading as outrage. Right. That happens all the time with everything, and the best way to deal with it is to ignore it and pretend it's doesn't even exist because it really doesn't matter. Weirdos are going to be weirdos. What can you do about it?
Look, nobody has to pretend like they are happy to be paying more for something for entertainment, right? Of course, Nobody is. Nobody has to try to justify that. It kind of sucks. If you don't want to be outraged about it, that's completely fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody has to work around and forgive it like they're on Team PlayStation or Team Xbox or
right.
Whatever.
We could say we understand what's happening here, but it is what it is. A corporation wants more money because things are more expensive for them. Well, I want more money too, and Sony doesn't give a shit about that, so I don't give a shit about them wanting more money.
Philip Boyle says, any idea on the Snitches new IP Game Pass game? Jeff, I know nothing about this. How about you?
No, I don't. Let's take a look here. Why don't you read the next one while I kind of figure out what's going on?
Well, I need some participation from you for the next one.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm paying attention.
Kyle Martin says, "Scissor me, Daddy." So, Jeff, first off, we should scissor. So
I've been planning. Yes, this. Yeah. Nope, you almost got it.
Here it goes. Oh. Other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're heroes. Yeah, we're great. All right,
I feel good about
fantastic.
it.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, he says, "Hope the Beef Boys had a good time last night." Now for the real question: Who rides a scooter the best? Jeff was having a good laugh because we got on these those rideshare scooters, whatever, the ones you could just use on your app in the city. We had there was a little bit of a walk from the restaurant to the show, so let's just take these scooters. So we all got on our scooters. Jeff had done this once before. Me and my brother.
I've done it several times before in multiple cities now. Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
So I get on it. I'm behind Jeff. We're just on the street on these electric scooters, and I say to him, "This is the weirdest thing I've ever done." Then AJ rides up behind me. And he just immediately goes, "This is the weirdest thing I've ever done." He did not hear what I said. We're just brothers.
Yeah, they literally and not word for word the exact same thing. This is the weirdest thing I've ever done.
And it felt weird, but it was a lot of fun. I think Jeff's practicing experience the best. This poor guy was crossing a road in front of us, and Jeff had him take our picture. It was great. He was very nice about it.
He was like, "You guys going to the?" And I'm like, "Yep, we're going to the wrestling show. You got it. Good job."
I hope when we're at the restaurant, there's people staying next to us. Most of them were wearing wrestling shirts. One of them had a kind of funny shirt on. Jeff got him over. It's like, "Here, I'll take a picture of you. I'll tag Greg Miller in it." I don't think he knew who you were.
No, he definitely did. But I just wanted to send it to Greg. It was more about Greg than
It's like, "What do you think about Giant Bomb?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I don't know. There's been some changes over there." And I hope somehow he's listening now.
Yeah. Hello. I hope you enjoyed your barbecue.
I think, oh, who wouldn't? All right, I think that is it for now, Jeff. If you guys want to send in more super chats, we will read them by the end of the show. So please do. What's this with the snitch, Jeff?
I don't know. I haven't watched it yet. Let's watch it. I clicked on it. He's doing some weird stuff.
It's Morse code. So
Well, yeah, I mean, yes, he's doing his like weird Morse code.
Somebody
stuff,
under it must have deciphered this already.
All right, well, I'll
Morse
scroll
code's
down.
almost kind of lazy as far as like secret messages. At
And
this
I
point,
think hasn't he done that before? Didn't he do a Morse code thing before? I thought.
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, come on, now everyone knows what Morse code is. It's not like some fun thing to like decrypt. Just type it out at that
Yes,
point.
it just says drink your Ovaltine.
Yeah.
There's Prince from Tom Henderson. Yes,
the
yeah.
ones
Don't forget to drink your Ovaltine. Let's see. I'm looking. Apparently, it says the wise men say you'll find your way. Was this a reference to Pinocchio? It was probably Pinocchio, right?
I think it's a reference to Africa by Toto.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Bless the rains down in Africa. There you go. Knuble, Lies of P for Game Pass. It's the only game on the Xbox booth that is not confirmed for Game Pass, and I think Knuble got it correct. Good job.
Yeah,
Knuble.
didn't that actually end up happening anyway?
Yes, because this is from August 20th. This is 5 days ago.
Well,
Yeah, I think it's Liza P.
Yeah, because he was doing other stuff with Liza P, right?
And once again, it is something that was going to be on YouTube in a couple of days. So I think that theory about him being able to see what's on YouTube a couple of days before it happens, whatever. It seems
permissions are intense.
Yes, exactly. It seems possible. All right, Mike. Any other super chats?
That's it. Should we? Do you want to take a break? Should we talk to our Discord friends now? What do you want to do?
No, let's take a quick break, everybody. We will be right back after I find the button here. Okay. Bye, everybody. See you in a second.
Let's see if I can. I don't even have to go. I'm gonna try anyways. Let's play it safe.
When he gets back, we'll tell him he's not supposed to do that. Not supposed to try to go pee when you don't have to. Can lead to incontinence when you're older. This is what you all come to this podcast for, right? Pee talk? I hope so. Because that's what this is now. Pee pee!
Pee pee.
Bring back the Splashdown. I'm excited to play Splashdown. I'm like, this looks like a PS2 ass wave race.
Wave race.
Let's see. I mean, I'm scrolling down in chat. Let me see.
That is so slow.
Jeff, someone asked, do you think we get XO22 this year from Xbox? Not this year. I mean, maybe, but probably not. I mean, it seems pretty late in the year for them to announce it. I guess it's maybe they could announce it in September, but like, I don't know. It seems like the kind of thing they would have announced by now. Sir Mammoth, thanks for talking about Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD this morning, Jeff. Any chance you could talk about it some more? I mean, we talked about it more mostly on Last of the Nintendogs already. And the big thing is just we're expecting, based on what we've heard, a direct in September. And at that direct in September, I would think they're probably going to talk about the Metroid Prime 1 remaster. And it seems like they should announce the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD stuff.
Are we talking about the direct while I go to the bathroom?
Yeah, someone just asked about it. I'm like,
are these the lies of P? That's a good one.
This P segment brought to you by Lies of P, where it's lies and P. Not lies, but it definitely P. Absolutely.
Are you gonna play like through Wind Waker and or Twilight Princess? Like,
I will play through Twilight Princess for sure, and I love Wind Waker, so I'll probably play through that again. But I never beat Twilight Princess because of my Wii getting stolen. We've talked about that a million times. But
yeah. I mean, I played through Wind Waker when the
fun.
Wii U came out, and I played through half of Twilight Princess. But I think I will still once again just play through Wind Waker immediately.
Hey, Christian, scissor me, daddy! Come on, Christian!
Daddy. Christian loves it.
Woo!
It's just to be clear. It's a hand gesture,
Okay,
Christian.
I'll do it.
It's okay.
Yay!
It's okay.
Good. All right.
Yeah, we won him over. We did it.
I actually did it.
Yeah, thank you so much. It means a lot to me.
Wow. We're popping cherries tonight.
Cal Martin says he acquired Wario
Good.
World.
The Wario World Revolution starts now.
Yes, finally. All right, I'm gonna bring us back in. Okay, after that quick break, let's get to our Discord questions, which I have right here. We've touched on a few of them. Let's touch on a few more here. Ezipsis, or Easy Ipsis, says, hey guys, been a while since I've been online, but I'm still here. Glad that that's the case. Glad you're back. It's my birthday today. I've spent most of it playing Vampire Survivors. What game should I buy with my birthday cash to break out of the spell of Vampire Survivors has on me? First of all, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. You should buy Wario World for the GameCube. I mean, a lot of people seem to like. I haven't even played it yet, but a lot of people seem to like Cult of the Lamb. If you want to talk about other
Yeah.
zeitgeisty games of the moment, Jeff.
Yeah, I think Cult of the Lamb could be, if you're into filling meters and like doing fun stuff with like your like cultists and stuff, not like doing fun stuff with characters that might follow you in a game. Yeah, Cult of the Lamb's a good one. That'd be a good use of your money. Also, it's not like so expensive that you won't have money left over for like a burrito or something. Again, happy birthday.
You put it towards your PlayStation 5 savings.
Yes, yeah, and now you're just 1% of the way there. The Uncharted Wolf. Hey, Jeff, I'm sorry about not liking Wave Race, Grubb. And Mike, seriously, Jeff, please don't kick me out of the Discord, Minotti. We'll see. Is there a game where you love everything about it except one thing that holds it back for you? For example, Yakuza 0 was a game that was basically made for me and what I love from games, but I found the combat monotonous and it led to me never getting far in it. This happens. Yeah.
Immortal Phoenix Rising is a good example where I thought I really liked the gameplay a lot. I like this kind of like, it's very Breath of the Wildy, but with maybe like just a little bit of its own kind of thing going on. Like just a little bit more of that Ubisoft open world design, but not a ton of it. But I just could not get over the storytelling and tone of it. So that really dragged out. But sometimes that happens in games like Neon White, where that's also a problem, but doesn't bother me nearly as much.
Yeah, I mean that game like has a fast forward and stuff. It's not like happening so much when you're playing, and Immortals Phoenix Rising definitely does. This does happen, but for the most part, if it's just one thing, usually that's not going to be enough to hold it back for me. It does happen occasionally. I can't think of any good examples, but usually it's like
but like Donkey Kong not being in Donkey Kong Country 2.
I guess that's a good example. That's okay. Yeah, that's probably it. Yes, that seems so petty. It doesn't even feel like in the spirit of the question.
It's true, Jeff.
Yeah, it is true. It's definitely me, though. It's still definitely me. Fluffy Cloud Gamer. Beside Team Asobi, which PlayStation studio are you most curious about what they're working on? I'm wondering about what Pixel Opus has after such a unique game in Concrete Genie.
I mean, it's obvious. I guess I am pretty interested in what exactly Naughty Dog is doing. Aside from like this Last of Us 1 remake and this, Last of Us multiplayer game, like what is their next big single player thing? They're going back to Uncharted. Is there, at some point they got to do another new IP, you would think. I mean, the last time they did a new IP, it gave them this mega franchise in The Last of Us. And it still feels like it may be a little early to go back to Uncharted after they kind of ended it. Well, of course, it's video games. It's not ended forever, but still it feels like it's going to be on a bit of a longer break. I don't know. Like the worst thing to happen is if they're like, we're making The Last of Us Part 3. That would be awful. But,
yeah, they definitely should take a pretty lengthy break from that, I would think. But I don't know. We'll see. It feels like there's no strong chance it will just be that at the same time.
God.
With as much as they're investing in the shows or whatever. For me, I don't know. I kind of just want to know what all those new acquisitions are doing. There's been a couple teams that they've they're working with, and now we are acquiring you before they've put out anything. So they must have something that's like really exciting to PlayStation, and I want to see what that is, or I want to see if if PlayStation was like, oh, we're acquiring you because this will make it easier for you to work with one of our existing IP, and now you can bring that stuff back. And I'm like, oh well, yeah, all that stuff. Tell me all those things. Tell me what the 10 live service games are. So that's where I'm at with Sony. From Winnie, thinking about Gotham Knights not being cross-platform, is this likely a studio/development decision or a Sony decision? I think it's probably a little bit of both. Sony probably is still a slight roadblock there, where they're probably like, this is not an automatic green light. You have to come talk to us first, and maybe there's going to be monetary compensation involved. But you could probably talk Sony into doing it, though. You could probably get over that hurdle, but it also is more resource and development time, and building a system where people can log in and have all that stuff ready to go, and things like that exist. You could just go use Epics, but again, that's like you need someone who can learn that and then implement it into your game. And they seem like they have bigger fish to fry than that.
Batman
right now.
was the one who was all about crossplay, but then he died.
Right, and so it's never going to happen now. Justice is dead. Hey, Mr. Buller says, hey, B&C chums, today is the 25th anniversary of GoldenEye 007 for the Nintendo 64, but we still haven't heard any official news about the remaster. Which do you think gets released first, GoldenEye 007 remaster or Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp?
That's it's interesting. Like which one has a harder time with all the Ukraine stuff going on? Because Advanced Wars is actually somehow more about just straight up war, and its
Right.
imagery, despite the cartoon aesthetic, is it's almost more upsetting with like the whole like tanks rolling into cities and taking them over. But they don't ever actually say the word like Russia or Russians, whereas in GoldenEye there are Russians in it, right?
Yep, absolutely. And that first enemy faction you face in Advanced Wars, clearly based on Russians, but still, you can kind of. It's not. They're not named that. It is something different. I also think that GoldenEye having multiple masters makes it more difficult and makes Advanced Wars actually more likely to come out first, because Advanced Wars, it's just Nintendo saying go. With GoldenEye, Nintendo, Xbox, and MGM, I think all have to give the green light, and maybe even like Rare, but I mean, Rare would just do whatever. I think they want to release it. So, but yeah, that makes it more complicated. From Danger Man Leet. Hey guys, I sound like an entitled ass, but all the cross-gen AAA games announced at O&L this week gave me a big yawn. I know COVID was/is an issue, but I do feel in 2023, last-gen software sales for AAA games will be very low outside of Call of Duty and EA Sports. I mean, I think there'll be some breakout games, Mike. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't like base too much of what to expect in the future just on the ONL. I don't know if we've ever gotten super exciting things here, right? I mean, if it's a big franchise that's going to announce a sequel to one of its games, they're going to want to do it at something like the Game Awards or maybe even their own thing. I think that's why at ONL you saw a lot of new franchises or some of these more mid-tier publishers and not like the big three or like an EA or an Activision necessarily. I still think there are big games ahead. I think 2023 is certainly going to be better in that front than 2022 was.
Jedi Moss 4, are we overhyping the acquisitions Embracer has made over the past couple of years? While they've no doubt have gotten some notable talent like Gearbox and the Eidos studios from Square, most of their acquisitions have been pretty small studios at low prices that frankly aren't exactly known for their talent at making high quality games. How does Embracer wrangle together all these little parts they've brought to make the big games they claim they want to make? We don't know. I mean, we don't know. We have no idea.
Maybe they don't. Maybe they're just like...
Exactly. That might be the most likely scenario. They don't.
Yeah, maybe they just like got all this money, like, well, let's spend it. And, if we spend enough money, we'll be a big video game company, right? And then it's like, oh, we have to manage all these moving parts and figure out how to like market and release a Saints Row game in the modern era and how to make that a success. And maybe we didn't. So, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Because they proved that they were pretty good at that some of that mid-tier stuff. And they were kind of making money there, but it's clear that's not their ambition. They want to be a big AAA publisher, and right now it's hard to know if they have it in them.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing where like I think other companies don't behave this way for a reason. Like EA and Take-Two aren't going out and acquiring studios in the same way because it's not for them. It's probably not a good business decision. I don't think that that means for Embracer that it is a good decision. Likely, could just be a wild miscalculation that might have no good ending for anyone involved, and we just don't know yet. We just don't know if that's how it's going to play out yet.
Yep.
From Jeremy G, with your newfound Fortnite fandom, if a Game Mess collab was underway, what items would they add to Fortnite for your Game Mess bundle other than Grubby and Mikey skins? Would there be special dance emote? Do you care to demonstrate that dance for the live YouTube watchers? I think it would just be me sitting in my chair, just bouncing up and down like that. Or maybe Mike going like that, whatever he does when like they announce, Daisy or whatever in video games.
I like to do like this a lot.
Yeah.
My head's expanding.
Yeah.
And excitement's pulsating.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be, the Arby's hat, I guess, which seems like more of an Arby's thing. But no, I've co-opted it. It'd be mine.
Roast beef is ours now.
That's right. We invented it.
Yeah, that would actually be my emote. It's just sitting down with a roast beef sandwich and just eating that. Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
My emote would be like forgetting that I can't microwave an Arby's wrapper and like watching in terror as my microwave becomes a lightning storm and then trying to turn it off as fast as I can.
Let's see. From Casual, Dear Jeff, Doom Metal Grubb, and Mike Grindcore Minotti. What's something you enjoy doing in your spare time that doesn't involve looking at a screen? Hope you have a bountiful weekend. I like going for walks. That's about it.
Walks are good. I like grilling. I like smoking meets very, I know, a guy in his 30s, kind of a thing there. But I like going out with my friends, going to grab a drink or something like that. But yeah, I think that's good. Cooking in general, since the pandemic, is something I started doing more of, and of course my tin whistle hobby. Yeah, so that's a big one. The tin whistling.
Yeah, I usually it's like involves like just like playing with the kids, taking them to the park or something like that. That's where I'm at mostly with that kind of stuff. Jamie H. Oh wait, I think we answered this one earlier. So from Hosp, hey yo beefy boys, just checking to see if you guys have been sleeping on my favorite August release, 2 Point Campus. Already put 30 hours in. Really addictive sim management game and a definite upgrade over 2 Point Hospital. No excuse as it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, I've been slightly curious about it. I know I heard some good things about 2 Point Hospital, so if you're saying that this is even better than that, that could be fun. I haven't played like one of these management games in a while, Jeff. So I remember Theme Hospital and stuff like that. But yeah, that almost could scratch a bit of an itch right now. That might be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here from Pablo Cost. Hey, hello, beef and cheddar cuates. Okay. Beef and cheddar cuates. That's Mexican Spanish for buddies. Fair enough.
Wow.
My gut tells me the DualSense Edge will be around $150 to $200. I think that's probably right. Then in Mexico, the PS5 is having a price increase of $50. It seems the PlayStation brand is becoming more and more expensive in Mexico. If the global economic conditions improve, could we see a price drop in a couple of years? No. P.S. Jeff, next time you're at a wrestling event, do a cardboard sign with something Karnov related. For example, Karnov's Revenge greater than Street Fighter 2. All right. Yeah, we'll do something like that next time. No, prices go up. Prices go up. I mean, because of global economic, forces, the price of, automobiles have gone up, over the last 40 years. They're not going to go back down to the price they were, 40 years ago. They're not going to go back down to the price they were 5 years ago. Prices go up.
But the price of PlayStation 5 has to go down eventually before like a PlayStation 6 comes out, right?
Well, I mean, no, they just stopped making a PlayStation 5. That's what what just happened. They just stopped making the PlayStation 4 before dropping the price. And now if you want a PlayStation 4, you got to go pay $400. You're going to pay $400 for it on Amazon right now.
Yeah. God, back in remember they made the PlayStation 1, they spelled out the 1, it was like I don't know, $100 or something.
They got the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 down to about $99 there at the end, and they sold the PlayStation 2 forever. With FIFA all around the world to people who are like waiting to get on the into the PlayStation console for years and years because they couldn't afford it because they were in parts of the world where they didn't have a lot of money. But those people just play phone games now. Everyone just plays games on their phone now. So it's just they just cut it off instead. The price might drop a little bit way down the line, but just don't count on a price drop. These price increases are pretty permanent these days.
Jeez.
From Octo. Yo, Jeff, if I shave my head, I could pass as the fourth Minotti brother, Grubb. And Mike, you're like presenting Minotti. Why are they so
deeply uncomfortable?
Hey, man, you got to get used to it.
Jeff doesn't have the nose; his nostrils flare up too much. That's why I made him take a picture of me outside of a plastic surgery place we walked by and say, "Look, we're gonna switch noses here, and it'll be funny."
Don't take my cute perky nose; it's my best feature.
Don't you dare. You're going to get my bulbous nose instead. Bulbous.
Bulbous is a good word, though.
Yeah.
Why are there so few racing games with a proper single-player mode? More than menus and a career progression? Love me a good, fun driving game. Not that into multiplayer, so why are games like Driver San Francisco so rare? Feels like fighting games with story modes. I never play one without a story mode, and Need for Speed has been meh for some time.
Yeah, I feel like that time Need for Speed really tried making that cinematic single-player mode. Like, they went too far with it and made it bad. Maybe scared people off because, like, that didn't go over really well. It's like, well, like, they kind of had the right idea, but maybe the execution there wasn't where it should be. It should be more like Diddy Kong Racing, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a hard thing to pull off, and it's so and like there's not a huge reward to go along with it. Like, your racing game's actually probably not going to sell so much better if it has a great single player thing. Most people are just going to play it online with their friends.
But for me, like something like Gran Turismo 7 had with its cafe menus, and that was enough single player progression for me. But I can understand if it's not for some people.
From Bench JC, hello, Scooter Gang. With Sony increasing the price of the PS5, do you think others will follow? Maybe they don't increase the price of their consoles, but maybe accessories. Yeah, accessories could maybe see an increase. I mean, especially if it's a third party or something like that. But I think that Microsoft understands that if they can weather this, it could really look good on them in the long run. And it's like they could just build it into their marketing budget.
And Microsoft and Nintendo, they have just vaults filled of money. They should be able to weather it, right?
Right. And again,
they're not like PlayStation where they have these other divisions within their parent company that they kind of make up the slack for.
Right. And like Nintendo working with really old hardware at this point that's really cheap. And then on top of that, they are finding ways to stealthily raise the price. So Nintendo's just like sitting pretty. And then meanwhile, Microsoft, with a pretty expensive thing to create, almost certainly still losing money on every system, just is grinning and bearing it. And it's going to probably make them look pretty good in the end. Like they, you know, all the fanboying or whatever. But, and then, you know, anyone who's just like, I want a company that's going to do right by me, even if this is just, again, them building this into their marketing budget. It could have long-term benefits for the view of the brand. From Laushin, hello, gents. Hope week is going well. Mike, I love murdering Minotti. And Jeff, panties, Grubb. And just in case, AJ, the cool Minotti. With Sony announcing a price increase for outside the US, do you see Microsoft or Nintendo doing the same? I don't see either following Sony's lead on this. It's understandable, but unforced error on Sony's part. When comparing the strength of the dollar between today and the launch of the PS5, the increases only seem to cover the differences created by the weakening of the other currencies to the dollar and not inflation. P.S. Jeff is correct. You throw on shoot, not rock. So we've covered a lot of this last year, so we'll talk about that. Mike, you go on shoot. Paper, rock, scissors, shoot. Paper, rock, scissors, shoot.
Look, I accept that apparently that is more common, but it blew my mind to discover that at some point because everybody locally here in Northeast Ohio goes paper, scissors, rock.
Yeah, I mean, it is like when it feels like everyone around you is doing something and you find out that is weird, that is one of the hardest things to like process because it's like, no, obviously everyone gets this because this is how I've done it my entire life and no one's ever said anything different. Yeah, I get it.
We all called it pop here for a long time and I realized no, that's not the most common. Most people call it soda. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, at least
things like that.
I still at this point I call it like soda pop almost sometimes just to say both.
Just to cover all your bases.
Yeah, I still want to say pop because it definitely was pop, and especially in Michigan where Faygo was most popular. But at least we're not like Georgia where they just call everything Coke. Give me a Sprite Coke.
I kind of like that.
I
just like Coke. I like that brand. As far as brands that make me feel comfortable, I think that was like one of those things when I was like a young kid and just conflated enjoying brands with having a personality. I bought a lot of Coke merchandise. I had like a Coke lamp that I still had a Coke pillow and shit like that. So, you know.
From Gruntilda's ass.
Yay.
Sup, dudes. While I agree Halo still could use more content, it's in a much better place than at launch, yet still no one is playing it. Do you think in this day and age, people are just wanting a battle royale mode? Seems like standard arcade style game modes don't keep games relevant anymore. I mean, it's definitely part of it, right? There's definitely a part where people think those modes are old.
People want something new. Maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be a battle royale mode. Maybe it'll be some kind of a horde mode thing, or even maybe Forge itself will be enough. But people want something new. They can't just release a new season and be like, we have so many new maps and things like that. It's got to be something pretty exciting to bring people back. I hope it happens because I had a lot. Again, I liked Infinity a lot. It's the only kind of thing now is it sort of seems out of mind of a lot of people, and there's just not a ton of people playing it.
Chat's having a good time right now. A lot of people from our part of the country, Mike, are all saying, yep, pop, like Western Pennsylvania and Illinois. Yeah, the Midwest and like, those Rust Belt towns are all going to call it pop. And then
I think when I realized it was when I started traveling to California for work a lot, and people would stare at me when I said pop. That's when I felt weird.
Yes. One Up versus CPU says we do not call everything Coke. Okay, fine, whatever. I've just seen that on like infographics or whatever, and I'm like,
we wrote it on the internet, right?
Yeah.
Must be true. I assume everybody in San Francisco hates being called San Fran. That must be true. There was one story about it.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's not true because that's embarrassing.
Yeah, for real. And then Mike is a Coke pony. Pepsi bots have no releases in 2023, says Jeremy G. I'm sorry, chat's been very funny tonight.
Just admit that Pepsi has nothing coming out in second half of 2023, Jeff.
It's Frisco, says Christian. That's very good too. All right. From Sakelin. Hey, hello, boys. With Twilight and Wind Waker ports likely to be announced in September, does that indicate Breath of the Wild 2 is more likely releasing in the next fiscal year? Releasing 2 Zelda games in 6 months seems a bit much. I don't know if they're thinking about it that way.
I mean, I still expect Breath of the Wild 2 next fall. I don't
expect
next summer. So yes. I don't know if this really necessarily gives that away, but I'm still expecting, Breath of the Wild. I don't expect Breath of the Wild 2 within the next 6 months, or in the next 12 plus months.
Jesus. And now Andrew said he got made fun of for hillbilly shit for calling it pop. All right.
Damn, that's just rough.
Yeah, that is. Sorry that happened to you.
That would destroy me. I was like, whoa,
yeah, well,
okay,
Jesus. I was from the suburbs. Give me a break here.
Yeah, like, dang.
Disposable content. Hello, B and C boys. First time, long time. Do you think that Epic adding zero build to Fortnite was a reaction to internal metrics showing that the adoption rate or active user counts were going down? Seems like this mode is getting people who are turned off by the building to try the game. I think it was driven by metrics. I don't know if the metrics were going down. I bet it just wasn't growing as quickly.
Yeah, I could see that happening for sure. There's all these kind of buttons. Remember, like Apex Legends for solo was like only 3 versus 3, right? And I know they've introduced some solo stuff. I bet someday it'll even be more like there's like a full blown solo mode and whatnot. Mm-hmm. It's kind of good to have these cards up your sleeves, I guess.
Yep. From the GG Doctor. What is your gaming shame? Mine is that I absolutely hate boss battles. I'm dreadful at them, and it impedes my progress in basically all games. Mine is missing a bunch of shots with the sniper rifle today in Fortnite, live on stream for everybody to see. That was my biggest shame.
My biggest one right now is that we were playing Arcade Pit, and there was a screenshot of Final Fantasy 14, and I can't identify literally the game I play every single day. So that one's sticking with me for a while.
Yep, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, I redeemed myself in other places. I got the Star Tropics song. I played Mega Man 3 on the Game Boy very well, so it was okay.
I redeemed myself too. I rushed in, and it worked out almost every time I did it today. And it's like, most people in that game still it's a game built for rushing in, and people just wait for stuff to happen. They just sit back and wait. And so while my guys were sitting back, while Jan and Dan were sitting back, I could rush in, and I'm dropping down on top of them, and they're not looking for me at all. It's great. It's a great game.
Yeah, they're worried about your sniper friends.
Yeah, it's great. From Velocity Prime 1. With Kojima now a podcaster and Sakurai a YouTuber, how will the Beef and Cheddar Boys compete with these gaming legends on their home turf? That's right. We're getting naked. Look out for it next time, everybody. It's going to be a real whole thing for you. Good luck to that, to dealing with that. Beef Hammer.
Escalation's going to be crazy on that one. 6 months from now, we're just all going to see Kojima's penis, and I'm sorry about that.
Here's Sakurai's butthole, everybody. Deal with it. Beef Hammer. Warning, angry beef rant incoming. All right, here we go.
No, it's so shit.
What could possibly be the reason that Gotham Knights had its release date changed at Onal and only moved 4 days from October 25th to October 21st? It's bizarre, and now instead of being the only game out on the 25th, it comes out the same day as the new Tales from the Borderlands, Scorn, and Persona 5 Royal ports. Is WB trying to bury this game, especially if the reviews end up middling? Thanks for listening to my rant.
They can't afford to bury this game. I don't know. It is a little weird. Like, if it's just 4 days, why bother? What do you think, Jeff?
It's gotta just be some weird shipping thing. It's gotta be some pragmatic thing like that, because otherwise, this makes zero sense. Or maybe some metrics like, oh, if you put it on that day, you'll get 2% more sales or some shit. It's really weird. I don't get it either.
Yeah, it's confusing. I don't know. I don't think it would indicate any kind of losing faith in Gotham Knights.
Okay, let's see. Delta Prime says, OHIO boys. I don't do that, actually. Sorry.
That's right, because you're from Michigan. So
yeah.
OH.
IO, yeah. When people do that, they usually end up throwing beer bottles at me. The NVIDIA leak had City Skylines 2 on it. The devs of City Skyline had stopped making expansions for a long time, but now they have just announced their second expansion in a year for the original game. Do you think City Skylines 2 might have been canceled in favor of more expansion packs for City Skyline, or just isn't ready yet, and they are simply trying to keep the studio in the black?
It could be those two things. It could be that this expansion was just listed as City Skylines 2 for some reason, Jeff, even.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think it's probably just them looking for ways to like move things around to. Well, they probably are taking longer on City Skyline 2 than they would originally think, but I bet that game is going to come out.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Especially when we haven't heard an area peep from SimCity for a while. Why not?
Exactly. And I don't. And from what I've heard, nothing's happening with SimCity either. So yeah. From Epic Open World, hello, my favorite Cheddar Boys. So which of these studios do you have more faith in going forward? Volition or Tango Gameworks? Volition's last two games are Agents of Mayhem and the Saints Row reboot. With Tango, Evil Within 2 is their only game considered above average, and their last game was Ghostwire Tokyo. Do you think either of these studios are in trouble?
I don't know if Tango's in trouble. I think Volition's in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, the only kind of weird factor there is what does Embracer Group think about it, right? Because they lose money all the time and don't care. So if Saints Row doesn't do well, and again, we don't know if it's going to do or not. Maybe it's going to be fine. There's sometimes games that get 60s and people seem to get attached to them. Like Days Gone was a big example of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's getting out a movie now. They wouldn't make a sequel, but it'll get a TV show or whatever. So I don't know. Volition, yeah. I don't have much of an opinion about the Evil Within people, largely because I don't play their games because I'm a coward. But yeah, Ghostwire Tokyo certainly seems like a bit of a misfire.
Yep, definitely. I think that Tango is probably in a better situation because Microsoft is more understanding. Evil Within 2 was a game that people really did like. They could do an Evil Within 3. They could do something completely new, and I bet people...
They'll do Evil Within 3, and it'll do well, and they'll be fine.
And people will be excited for it, like they would be. I don't know who's going to be too excited about another Saints Row from this Volition team at this point.
No, I think that franchise is now going to have to take another long break until like 10 years from now when they can come back and say, hey, remember we said we couldn't make it crazier? Well, we're just going to make it crazier. And here's Gat and Shawnee and all those people you actually like, yeah, we're back. It's like when they made that one Prince of Persia reboot that people didn't really like. And the next one was just, actually, it's a sequel to Sands of Time again. Now, granted, that didn't work, but they'll probably try that route at some point if they do anything else with Saints Row.
I think that's exactly right. Nick Sam put the Evil Within on the Game Club for October, and I say the scariest game that I will allow you to put on the voting thing, Mike. I don't know what you guys have in store is Costume Quest.
I'm thinking about being a brave boy. I was thinking I was thinking about the Resident Evil remake, which I think a lot of us did get from that super incredibly cheap bundle that they were doing. Because I want to play Resident Evil 1.
Resident Evil 1. Okay, I haven't played that since the GameCube, so.
And I thought Fear might be interesting. But granted, I'm always kind of thinking older than some people on this. So for the third game we put on there, maybe Evil Within could make sense, or maybe we could find something that's more that's more spooky. Than
people would enjoy
like
watching you play a horror film or horror game. So that'd be good stuff for Twitch for sure. Let's see. We're almost through these questions. Let's go with Dugan. Hello, Deciders. Grubb, are you still using GG to track your games? No, I've fallen off, just like I always fall off of everything because I'm terrible at this stuff. What are your thoughts on the reviews from that platform? Mike, how do you track the games that you play?
I don't. I even know what GG is. I don't. Yeah.
It's just an app that like creates lists and has a good database of games and stuff. It's good. I like it.
So far, knock on wood, my memory is pretty good. My dad's memory sometimes isn't so great, so I get worried about that stuff. But my dad's also a doctor, so I think his like brain has to absorb so many more important things all the time. So that's why he doesn't remember like where we went to dinner last week.
Yeah.
But I have to worry about his video games, so I'm okay.
Dr. Turbo Sus, hey boys, we correctly talk mostly about Call of Duty and Blizzard with the ABK acquisition, but King was a huge part of the price tag as it is highly profitable. Do you expect Microsoft to do anything different or creative with King, Candy Crush / Halo crossover? ?
Crossovers, maybe. I think they are largely just happy to kind of take on that gravy train, right? Or the gravy boat.
Like they will. I think you can. I think Candy Crush already came with Windows for a while. I bet they deepen that sort of thing. Like Candy Crush is just going to show up on a lot more Windows devices, and they'll make more money. Screaming Turbo Madden. As we get closer to September, I'd say it's shaping up to be a very promising month for game releases. Some of those game releases include The Last of Us Part 1 Remake, Splatoon, Return to Monkey Island, and certainly not least, Freedom Planet 2. That's coming on September 13th. I've waited 6+ years for this game. Woo! Anyways, what is your most anticipated game of September and/or any game you two are looking forward to next month that are flying under the radar?
Oh, under the radar. I don't know. Freedom Planet 2 is one I kind of haven't thought about. I need to play Freedom Planet 1, actually. Jeff, you don't know this is the kind of indie Sonic game.
I'm aware of it, but I've never played it. Yeah, I remember people being into the first one, like on Vita, right? A lot of people were like into it when it came out on Vita.
It was on a bunch of things, I think. But yeah, that sounds right. But I mean, I am mostly thinking about Return to Monkey Island and Splatoon 3 for sure.
I got a list of games coming out next month. These are from my browser here. Yeah, there's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R. That's like a re-release of an older game, I believe.
Oh, right. Yeah, they had that at Summer Game Fest Play Days. I saw it's like they're one of the fighting games.
The Last of Us Part 1's on September 2nd. Lego Brawls on September 2nd. I have no idea what to make of that.
Oh, Disney Dreamflight Valley. That weird, Disney,
I am interested in seeing what that is. I think
I'm going to see what it is.
Yeah, I might start playing that and see if my kids are interested in watching that. I
better be able to marry Belle.
Railbound it's like a rail puzzle game.
That's kind of cute.
Yeah, it does look interesting. 9 Noir Lives. Okay.
That looks like I always say I don't like cat people that go full cat people.
Yeah, this is full cat person.
You can have ears and tails. I don't want Khajiit from Elder Scrolls.
This is full Khajiit. Yes.
Yeah, when you have a snout, that's too much.
Yeah, I think I might be with you on that one. Splatoon 3 is the 9th. NBA 2K, that's a big under the ground one. Yeah,
big underdog.
Yeah.
It's Theophil Chronicle in September. I think that's right. So that'll be interesting to see. I was not too high on that. People have liked that demo.
I thought the demo was pretty okay.
Okay.
I had a good time with it. It is very slow real time. Metal Hellsinger's coming the 15th, and people are very into that.
Yeah,
Melatonin's on the 16th, and that's that rhythm game that I was into, even though it was very tough for me.
This is looking like a pretty interesting Monkey Island, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, there's stuff like worth getting excited about. Serial Cleaners must be coming to console.
Slime Rancher 2 is happening.
Solstice. There's stuff worth getting excited about, and that's the end of this list here from GX Corner on the Opera GX browser for gamers.
Browser for gamers, baby.
All right. Let's see. I think that might do. Yeah, that actually does it for our questions from the Discord. So, Mike, any other Discord questions?
You mean super chats? But yes, we got one
super
more
chats
from Demi Crow. Says, I just reserved the Steam Deck. What game should I try out first? I'm planning to play the very long JRPGs like Persona 5 Royale and Soul Hackers 2. RPGs I think are great for it. I've really enjoyed Ys 8 on it specifically. It runs really well on Steam Deck. It's a fun game. So if you like action RPGs, I think that's a cool one to try. If you want one to kind of like wow you a bit, I would still rather play the Doom 2016 or whatever year it was with keyboard and mouse, but it looks really good on Steam Deck. And if you like using twin stick controls and you have gyro aiming too, that one is fun just to see how pretty it is, I think.
Riderflow, who I think is a new member of the Discord and the Patreon or whatever, they asked a question here at the end actually that I missed. Hey Jeff and Mike, have you heard anything about a Jak and Daxter game, be it a remake or a brand new game? If not, do you have any thoughts about it? Seems like there's something going on around the franchise with the rumor of a TV show / movie in the making. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I'll just say that much.
We're just thinking like, what could Naughty Dog be doing? It's hard to imagine them going back to something cartoony again after they've gotten so good at doing these kind of realistic human-based games. It sure would be cool to see what a Naughty Dog 3D platformer looks like in modern times, but I'm not super hopeful. One thing that would make some sense if you got Blue Point to make Jak and Daxter, do it in that style. If they do the trilogy in the style of like what Activision was doing with Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, and those remake trilogies sold very well. So I kind of don't know why you wouldn't do that with Jak and Daxter, but not sure the thinking. Jeff, this doesn't show up as stream. I'll have to remember this, but people can send in questions if they're members. We got a question here from Achievement, and he asks, Sega for sale, who buys them? Tencent, Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo? If Sony buys Square, they'll be caught up, and Nintendo doesn't like spending money. I think, Tencent or Microsoft probably most likely. Nintendo normally, Jeff, I know wouldn't be interested in these big acquisitions. Do you think the whole the whole history with Sega and the fact that there's been some I don't know there's some crossroads there. There's a lot of family friendly franchises there. Would Nintendo have any interest in buying Sega? It
I
seems like they
don't
would be
know.
more interested in that than others.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them like maybe in a slightly bizarro world of ours doing it. This one, it's really tough to imagine them going all the way and doing what it takes to acquire Sega. Especially when I think Microsoft and Sony would both be interested, especially because that includes Atlas and includes a lot of,
Well,
Microsoft includes a lot of PC stuff.
That's not a very good fit for Nintendo. Very good fit for Microsoft.
Yeah, and an increasingly better fit for Sony too. So yeah, it's a tough one. I think that of the three, Nintendo is still the least likely to make that move.
What about Tencent? We think the
I think Tencent's probably the most likely. I think Tencent makes a lot of sense. I think they might even be pushed because like NetEase is making so many moves to acquire Japanese talent. They're like, well, why don't we just cut that off and we'll take over everything Sega's doing, and then we get Yakuza and all that stuff. And maybe Tencent's not interested in that, but I think Tencent probably would make that move if given the opportunity.
So some people are bringing this up, how there's a Bloomberg video where they talked about
that it was a mistake.
The home of Sonic. That was a mistake.
Yes.
Bloomberg didn't accidentally reveal that.
The way I read that Reset Era thread at first, it was like Phil Spencer accidentally said that he acquired, or that he actually said Sonic was the home of Xbox was the home of Sonic. And I'm like, well, that's kind of weird if Phil Spencer said that. Maybe he did make a Freudian slip. And then I go watch the video, and it's just some lady making a mistake in a video. It's like, guys, this happens all the time. This just happens.
We don't have to read too much into that.
Yeah, I think most people knew that, but yeah, fair enough.
For sure. All right, Jeff, should we talk about some of the games we've been playing?
Yeah, we played The Simpsons arcade machine.
We did.
In my basement, right over there. It was a good time.
It was fun. I mean, it's funny. A lot of those beat 'em ups, especially from the arcade, you remember the first couple of levels really well. We got relatively far into it, and everything I remember every little thing about this.
It's super distinct when a lot of other beat 'em ups got pretty repetitive, in terms of its environments. This one has a lot of character every single level.
Yeah. And it's it doesn't take itself too seriously. You go from a graveyard to an elevator down to a mining shaft, somehow into Moe's Tavern.
Yeah.
Why is it down there? I don't know, but it's great. But I love it. Gosh, I do just love that one. Sometime I want to go through, play the whole thing. That the slightly smaller scale of the 1-Up arcade makes it slightly uncomfortable when you got 3 beefy boys and 1 small child kind of squeezing in there for those controls, especially on the edge.
Yeah.
To fit in, I wasn't lined up with it right. So when I'm trying to go up, I'm not just moving my hand up. I'm kind of angling things a little bit. Now, for a simple beat 'em up like this, not a huge issue.
Right. And it's I bought it knowing that we would probably maybe play it a couple times ever, knowing that maybe my kids are probably going to play it quite a few times. They like these things. They sit down and they just start playing it all the time. They don't get very far. They don't do much. They still don't quite get the concept. But I bought it because I think it looks great, and it has the art, and it makes the sounds, and it's more a decoration than anything else, and I'm okay with that.
It's a very good decoration.
It's exactly, and I'm like, this is great for the environment that I'm going for down here. I'm not great at that stuff anyhow. This is a great thing that I could just pop down here, and it fits with exactly what I want.
And then you got Simpsons Bowling too, which is a nice little bonus. Actually, that's fun.
And it comes with it has the trackball and everything, and then you could just play a golf or a bowling game in there. It's great. But it's if I really, really, really wanted to have a good session of us playing this game, it would almost be better just to sit on the couch with the emulator and wireless Xbox controllers and play it that way. But that's not the experience we were going for here, and I'm glad.
Point, really.
Yeah, and I'm glad we played it for about an hour or whatever it is, 45 minutes, got through a few levels, and that was good. It was a great taste of the game again.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. And now that there's been something with it, I do still hope that we could someday get some of the other Konami beat 'em ups. So we're getting the TMNT stuff. It'd be cool if we got this and X-Men or Alien, some of those other ones ported into some kind of a collection. That would just be awesome.
Yep, absolutely. It would be ideal. What else you been playing?
Gosh, aside from that, I barely touched the Final Fantasy 14 update that dropped on Tuesday. Big patch. But I knew that I was busy Tuesday and Wednesday. We did the whole Cleveland thing, so I knew I'd start today. Even today, I just played a little bit, so then I got tired, so I took a nap before this. But after this, I think I'm going to dive into it more. After beating Wario World, the new GameCube adventure I'm on is Beautiful Joe. So I did like the first little kind of big levels of that one. That's a really fun game. That's also a bit of a shame thing for me because I played that game back when it came out and liked it a lot, but couldn't get past the boss rush at the end as a young teenager. Today, I think I can do that. So we will beat Beautiful Joe eventually.
Beautiful Joe, a great game, fantastic game. Yeah,
it holds up very well. Like visually, it still looks really good because it does a lot of that like cell shading, and it has this kind of interesting, like looks like an old movie style. And as an action game, it still feels pretty unique compared to anything else like that.
Absolutely, yeah. I've been playing Madden NFL on the Steam Deck because I can. Yeah, it's it's a football game. It's a sim. It's okay. It's okay for what it is. I think that they've mostly been just slowly improving it like throughout the entire last generation. It seems like it's in an okay place. I'm having a fun time playing as the Lions and just like doing some season modes and stuff like that. I've never gotten deep into any football game since like Super Tecmo Bowl, honestly. It was always just a little bit of Madden here or there for a couple of weeks at the most, and that's it.
Yeah, I think the most I ever played a football game was like Madden 97 or 98 on the PlayStation. Back when like NFL Game Day was a competitor.
NFL Game. There was a couple years where NFL Game Day was better, and I remember playing a lot of that. Even when like people really, and I had a dream because people really like those NFL 2K games on there. I know my brother played as a bit. I only played a little bit of them. Yeah. But I figured I'd try it out. Maybe we'll do a quick look of it. But mostly I'm just like, I might see what it's because the Steam Deck's out, and it's interesting to have Madden on a handheld again. But that only goes so far. I'm not sure if we will like dive deep on what this game is for like people who are showing up for it every year.
If you have the Giant Bomb people talking over it and having fun, and Dan Ricker's talking about fighting snakes, it'll be a good time.
That's a good point. And then a lot more Fortnite, Mike. I don't know. Are you sticking with it too?
Yeah, I've been playing some of it. Largely right now, my goal is to get to level 90 in the battle pass. Like get
same.
Vader. I'm like level 80, so I'm getting pretty close to that. But
I need to unlock Shenron too.
I got Shenron.
Yes, I need to do it.
So that was good. So I feel happy about that. Once I get Vader, I feel like I will probably be kind of done with it until there is another big like crossover thing that I care about, or some big update or new battle pass or what have you. Like the Destiny things happened or are coming. That's nice.
Yeah, it did happen.
Super exciting for me.
Same.
Oh, Christian's even said he's playing Destiny 2. Yeah, Destiny 2. We didn't talk about, but they had their event before Ono, and it looks like they have a lot of stuff coming that fans seem mostly pretty excited about. So.
Yep. Yeah, it's like that Destiny community is like very much still into it, and a lot of the Destiny players I know are back into that grind like Christian. So not too surprising. Real quick, Doc 7 dropped another one. Jack and Dexter got a fan decomp and amazing PC port recently. Yeah, we talked about that when that happened. That is fantastic. I keep meaning to like go grab that and do some stuff with it.
Yeah, I would like to do. I played through Jack and Dexter 1 kind of like for the first time not too long ago, I think about a year ago, and it was actually a good amount of fun. But it would be fun to check out that piece. I know a lot of people like 2 a lot, Jeff, even 3. They like when it kind of added the weapons. I think I still liked 1 the most when it was mostly just trying to be a Super Mario 64 clone.
Yeah, he wants to know if there's any games we want to see officially decompiled and ported to PC. I mean, just about any game. I'm a fan.
Honestly, like Mario Sunshine would be great just to like really get that running at 60 frames per second, or Mario Galaxy 2 even, because then we could be able to play it.
Yep.
But there's a lot of games like keep doing this, keep going, everybody.
Yeah, go down the list. They have gone down the list already, and they are checking off the biggest ones, and they're going to keep at it. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mike, I'm gonna hit the button to get us out of here. You ready?
Yeah, I don't think there's any more super chats or nothing like that. Let's do it.
Where can people find you on the internet, Michael Minotti?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at ToCoTo. Been playing a lot of GameCube games recently. We'll be getting back into that Beautiful Joe life here pretty soon. We're starting the new poll for the Game S Game Club. We're kind of voting on all of the games that have lost so far is like the theme for next month. So stuff like Turok 2, Echo, Tides of Time, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
Oh, cool.
Earthbound, my friend Pedro. I think that's about it. I might be missing one. So yes, the kind of the redemption month is what we're calling it. So, and we're gonna have our discussion soon on Ninja Gaiden, which I did beat. I didn't talk about here though. So we're gonna have a whole thing about that.
I'm gonna vote for. I'm not gonna tell you.
Wow, everybody's gonna actually get 2 votes this time. Now we can't do the same thing twice because there's so many.
Right.
So you can vote for 2. So that'll
Cool.
be neat.
Very cool. Well, then one of them's gonna be Earthbound for me.
I'm gonna be on Game S Morning tomorrow, aren't I?
Yes, you are. Game S Mornings. Giant Bomb. Looking forward to wrap it up this week. It's been a long one. There's been a lot to talk about. We'll see if there's any fun news to talk about tomorrow. But right now, I'm just like, yeah, let's wrap up this week. Let's recap, go over everything, and I'll be doing that with you tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. So please tune into that. We've been getting pretty big audiences this week as we've had pretty big topics, especially today. A lot of people showed up for the show, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you everybody. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. And then, I don't know, lots of other stuff happened on Giant Bomb. We'll have a SnowRunner, our Slow Runners show with SnowRunner going live on Monday. And then tomorrow we are doing a Super Mario 3D World 4-player playthrough. We're not gonna play through the whole thing, but maybe we'll get started. Maybe we'll see where that goes.
That game is so good.
I'm very much looking forward to that, and I hope the online holds up. And then we're also doing the Gabby Jays versus Dan Reichert. It seems like me and Jan will both be playing as Gabby J, attacking Dan Reichert in 2-player mode of Super Punch Out, and we're looking forward to that too. That'll be right after Game S Morning, everybody. All right, everyone, have a good one. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
That man is dead.